What's up, Dragon Brood? So today we are doing something. Honestly, because of my channel, let's just be real. I'm not real happy about it, but I also am very happy about it. So I'm a little torn. So I'm gonna have to leave this to you to help me decide. By the way, before I get into this, I know I have a different backdrop and I'm using a different earpiece instead of my headphones. It's because I'm testing and preparing today, getting all of our stuff ready for the Players Tour final this weekend. I'll be working with Wizards of the Coast and the MPL, putting on a really cool event. So come by, check out the coverage on Saturday, hop over to their Twitch channel for Magic, and just come say hi. It's twitch.tv/magic. It'll be there. I think we're going from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Pacific, both Saturday and Sunday. Come check it out. It's going to be a whole pile of amazing players with some great Magic. Okay, now that being said, some of y'all probably saw that on the list there was an Esper deck that was registered. And normally I don't get excited about Esper decks. I have to admit, I'm really let down when I'm like, man, this list has Teferi. I hate Teferi. But you know what? I'm playing a Teferi list because it has both Kunaros and Rotting Regisaur. I know, it's weird. But we're going to take a look at it, see if it's any good. But before we do that, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, just because that helps me out in growing this channel, and I'm using my opportunity to bring you cool and interesting decks like this. But let's go take a look at this really interesting deck. Okay, y'all. You can look at this list and pretty much tell that whoever designed it was really working toward the idea of trying to beat Reclamation. So this is just full of cards that Reclamation decks don't do well against. So let's go ahead and run down the list. We got Season Hollowblade. It's hard to kill. You can discard cards to keep it alive. Fantastic. Tide Taker. If your opponent wants to do something on your turn, they have to pay an extra mana for it, which is awesome. And then if it dies, you get a token. So that's just a cool bonus. Aether Gust. You know, depending on how the format goes, this isn't going to be that strong. But when you're targeting Reclamation, which happens to be a green card, this is a great card to have on the list. Dovin's Veto, obvious what it does. One random Dire Tactics, there is another in the sideboard. Brazen Bar, all around good card. Mystical Disputes, again, just trying to play that counter war and keep them off stuff. You've got Rotting Regisaur, which is just a big honking beater. You got Teferi, makes it hard for your opponent to play anything, really take advantage of that Reclamation. Kunaros, Hound of Athreos. This is just fun because it keeps people from playing stuff out of the graveyard, but it can also work toward ending the game. It has Menace, Vigilance, Lifelink. This thing just does some work. Sphinx of Foresight. This is kind of an interesting card, right? Because when you have a list like this, you have so many different lands you're trying to hit to play all your cards on time. So if you get one of these in your opener, it can really smooth out your hands and really make it a lot easier for you to play all the spells that you're trying to play. So I am a fan of this card. Interesting. And it might work out perfectly in here. It's also a good attacker because there's not that many flyers in the format right now. And outside of the green decks, not that many things that can even block something of this size. So could be a pretty key part in this deck as we check this out. But again, like I said, the lands are going to be kind of all over the place. So you've got a couple of plains, islands, and a swamp. You've got 4 Hallowed Fountains, 2 Temple of Enlightenment, 4 Godless Shrine, 1 Temple of Silence, 1 Temple of Deceit, 4 Watery Grave, and 4 Fabled Passage. Taking a look at the sideboard here. This is an interesting sideboard because it's a bunch of 1s and 2s, but you've got 2 Giant Killers, 1 Aether Gust, 2 Legion's End, which is funny because Legion's End might actually gain some value now that the white decks are coming in with some of these smaller creatures. Especially because you can exile them and they don't make tokens, or if they've already made tokens, a lot of them are making similar tokens, either human tokens, soldier tokens, so you can get rid of multiples at one time. Noxious Grasp works for obviously what you think it does. Another Dovin's Veto, that other Dire Tactics we mentioned. Couple of Kaya Orzhov Usurper. This is actually pretty good too. It has some long game implications against the control decks, but you're playing against those small aggro decks that can also remove a creature and then suck up some damage on the next attack step. Archon of Absolution. This one is very interesting. And this is a card probably people forgot about even existed in Eldraine. But it's a 4 mana 3/2 flying, protection from white, Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So when you're playing against, say, these super aggro decks, especially when you're talking about like the white weenie decks that we've seen recently, this, if they do attack, gets to block something. But on top of that, your opponent has to pay extra for each one of those coming after you. And because it's only a 3 power, they don't have many ways to remove it. One of their best removal cards right now is one of the cards that removes a creature power 4 or greater. They also play the Glass Casket, which hits things 3 or less, and this is 4 mana, obviously. So it kind of gets around the stuff they're doing. So this is a very interesting card. So a really good inclusion here. This is probably the most innovative card if you're playing best of 3, truthfully. And then we have Extinction Event used for the obvious reasons. So this is a pretty interesting deck. I have no idea. It's not normally my style of deck, so I expect I'm going to make a lot of mistakes with it. But you know what? We're going to kick the tires on this thing and go out and give it a spin anyway. So let's go hop into the arena. So interestingly, I don't even know what a good hand looks like to keep. I assume we keep this because we have the Sphinx. I mean, we're definitely keeping it. I just don't know kind of what I expect the progression to be. Oh, this is one of the card backs from the Secret Lair. That's pretty cool. Secret Lair Tattoos, I think it was. Where it had all like 4 or 5 cards that were like inspired by tattoo art. I don't know if we care about Mystical Dispute or not. I kind of want to put this one at the bottom. And probably just call it good, right? I mean, we can go fetch another white. Yeah, it seems fine, I guess. I mean, this has no value because, you know, we're going to leave that on top, but... I guess we're going to go ahead and start with the Seasoned Hollowblade. Why not? Though, realistically, with the opponent playing a blue-green land on the first turn and we're on the play, we should just be playing Tide Taker, I think, to force the opponent to play on their turn. But turns out they're playing something completely different here anyway. So it's kind of a non-issue of sorts. Yeah, we just attack here, I think. I don't think the opponent wants to block there. I was just thinking, I don't think that's really what they're signing up for. Alright, so what's the opponent trying to play here? I think is what I have to figure out. I think I'm going to take the damage. I'm going to go ahead and play this, and not really sure how this is going to end up. I mean, they may just as well like Reclamation or something here, and this could just be a weirdly innovative build. Nope, it's just another Paradise Druid. Alright, doesn't look like we're trying to work our way toward anything wild here. I'm going to go ahead and get a Plains, just so we have at least 2 mana of every color in case we need it down the road. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this to Fairy.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
I am going to just plus to Fairy.
Oh, I've done the hero.
Because again, I have no idea what the opponent's really up to. I mean, I guess Teferi and Tide Taker is kind of a non-bow in a way, but together, I don't know, maybe they're fine. I mean, because if they kill one or the other, they still have to deal with the other issue, so I guess it's like some level of redundancy, but, It'd be nice if they tried to explosion that. Nope, it's just a Nissa. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Can't counter the Nissa.
The ties that bind us all. The land fights for
Sure.
us.
I think I'm good with blocking there. And then our turn. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? So we can bounce a land. We can attack into Nissa, we could bounce a Paradise Druid, leave the opponent with very little mana to work with. I don't know how beneficial that is, but it is a thing we can do. I think that's what we're going to try here. Plus, we get the opportunity to draw a land, which could really help shape this turn.
Here we go.
Okay, that's not what we were really expecting, but we'll take it. That's a way to set the opponent back here. This is kind of like an interesting smorgasbord of plays for me because I have no idea like what I'm going to be. I mean, I know what's in here, but I'm really just surprised at what I'm drawing every turn. This mix of cards is so unique that I wouldn't expect to see them together. So it's kind of funny. Cavalier. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Guess I need more mana for that. Oh, they were trying to get an Ugin into play on us. Is that what they were trying to do? Well, they will have 7 mana going into next turn. We need a land here. This is what we need. We need a land. Alright, that helps. So now we can leave enough up to protect ourselves from Ugin. We can still bounce the Cavalier, get the opponent down to 3, 4, put the opponent to 5. I don't know if that's necessarily like gonna do it for us, but it's a start. Nothing real creative we can do with this. But I do feel we need to play this other Teferi.
Let's slow this down. I've got it.
Okay. We can attack with... Really, we can only attack for 1, or just put this Teferi at risk, but maybe that's just what we have to do. But we'll get in there, see what happens. Oh, we'll definitely go get a plains here. Man, the opponent's deck was trying to go big. We can kind of use Dispute on more things, but yeah, let's just hit this. Yep. Alright. We're going to keep this. Like I said, I don't really know what type of hands are good or bad, so let's just take a look at some things. Alright, I'll leave that up. Mostly just because we get to see what the opponent plays, and if we feel we need to leave up an Aether Gust, we can. But that doesn't look like Aether Gusty material. So we're going to go ahead and just run this out there. And the opponent has probably like a Yorick's Finlurker or something here. Playing the mono black list. Or they just want to kill our Tide Taker. Their choice. Dreadhorde Invasion. What? I mean, we can play Regisaur because there's nothing to lose, right? I mean, we can bare minimum discard this Aether Gust we're not going to do anything with. Downside is we do have to ultimately bounce that with Teferi, so they can't just keep getting infinite creatures thrown our way. Oh, they had an Eliminate. Well, that's no good. And a Disfigure. Wow. Well, way to go, opponent. What do we even do with this? Alright, that's not bad. Leave that on top. I'm willing to trade some damage here. This will hurt a little bit, but I think it's worth it. Because eventually we can just bounce that. We'll counter. Not our favorite thing to counter, but you know, they'll probably play some other creature here. They're really going to try to just kill our flyer? Alright, sure. I guess that was going to be a nuisance in the long run, so why not, right? Alright, this, we're going to go get another island, I think. That'll give us 3 of everything. Question is just, what do I do with Teferi? Do we, like, bounce the creature, then Brazen Bar this? Do we just Brazen Bar the token, then replay? I mean, feels like maybe that's a play. They've already used 2 Disfigures, so let's just do that. Let them lose some life. We'll just see what happens. No. No, Auto Tapper. Why are you trying to do this to me? I get that you want to leave me my multi-lands, but I want to be able to play a spell afterwards. Alright, let's see if this dies to an eliminate as well, because it probably does. Oh, just a murder. Opponent's just playing all the kill cards. Alright, opponent. Good to know. That's a good card to have here. I think I want to do this.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Pull them just a little bit and let us set up some. So see, this is what happens, though, right? When you don't get to play against the green decks, these Aether Gusts, and we only played 2, and I drew both of them. Don't do anything. So if I were just to make a suggestion, depending on what you're playing against or what level of the ladder you're at, maybe even, this would be one of the first cards I end up getting rid of.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Alright, so we get a few turns of a free pass. Oh, they drew an eliminate. That's so awful. Well, we're not going to win this one. I mean, I say that. Maybe we get a big 4-4, and that matters. So, we'll see. Oh, whoa, what happened? Why'd the opponent scoop? What? What? Ah, humans are weird. Alright, let's do it. Aether Gust. Not knowing what we're up against. This is a hard choice. But I think we need more action cards, or at least to try to guarantee more action cards, so I'm just going to let it ride. Well, unfortunately, I may have chosen poorly. And I probably should have just played Tide Taker there. That's probably a mistake, but we'll see. I mean, the next turn, we do leave ourselves the option of playing Mystical Dispute or Brazen Bar as necessary. Or even Dire Tactics, I guess. So yeah, I guess it would have made sense to just play Tide Taker here. But I don't know. I was gonna say, I hope the opponent didn't just get disconnected there. That would have been really sad. Alright, we're just gonna pass. And actually, this works out pretty well because we can Brazen Bar something. The next turn, Tide Taker and kill something. Since Tide Taker's a human, we won't take any damage or lose any life. Or even if they just, we can just wait, take 3. And if they try to play like Creature Spell or something, we just counter it. That seems fine. Yeah, that's actually probably better. Just do that. Let the Tide Taker and Dire Tactics get rid of whatever creature remains. And then try to take over from there with like a Brazen Bar and our other Tide Taker, but we'll see. Alright, well, there's kind of what we were expecting. And that's a good one to get, because it lets us stay kind of even on cards there. Okay, so though we can play a Rotting Register here, we actually like all the cards in our hand. So we're going to just do this, and if the opponent has kill cards or anything, let's kind of coax them to kill the other thing, because like an Eliminate, you'd rather take that out than a Rotting Regisaur. Opponent is just passing. Why is that? Alright, no blocks. I'm just going to risk it. Probably a bad move, but we'll see what happens. Plague Crafter. Reach up to sacrifice a thing. Okay, so we just empty the opponent's board. Get a 1-1? I like that trade. Alright, I guess we'll just bring out the Tide Taker Brigade. And now we're just hoping to draw land as our next card, so we can play Regisaur and then use Brazen Bar. Well, I think I'm just going to use a Brazen Bar here. And while we have an opportunity to press the advantage, I'm just going to do it. Opponent plays a big creature, we'll just bounce it during their end step and then try to play the Regisaur and see what happens. Because what else are we going to do? That puts a land on top, right? Oh, turns a permanent from your graveyard to your hand. Alright, cool. Sounds like a plan. We've got nothing else. We're going to go ahead and keep the path play here and keep pressing the issue. They have a bunch of things that don't fly. So yeah. That should do it. I mean, because if they play a sweeper and we get the flyers, then we'll just go ahead and just play a Rotting Regisaur. Almost reaching the point that we don't even care about just sending all of our creatures in, because even if they block one and we get the token, that'll be enough to make sure we can end the game. So, kind of into it, you know? Yeah. Because I don't even think we're at the step of playing a Rotting Regisaur anymore. We're just playing the flyers. So here we attack. Opponent takes 4, 5, maybe 6, 7. We'll see. But seems worth it. So that's going to leave them with quite a few things they have to kill. Yep. So we'll take 5 from our flyers, 2 from their own Midnight Reaper. We end up with tokens. If the opponent does find a way to deal with all this, we'll just play a Brazen Bar during their end step, and that should do it. This is like a weirdly old school Golgari list. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, it looks like they have the writing on the wall there. Because you would need maybe the, whatever, the card we have in the sideboard that removes a creature and the copies if they cost less than 2. And then something to spot removal of Sphinx of Foresight. And then you would still need mana to be able to kill our Brazen Bar, which I don't think is going to happen here. Yeah, opponent could sacrifice a thing, gain a life, get a card. That's not going to help them. Yep, that's it. Well, there you go. You know, it's a pretty interesting deck. It's not necessarily my style of deck for sure. I mean, I'm sure y'all have watched other things on this channel, and some of you that have regulars are probably looking at this video. If you just clicked on it, went, what? PowrDragn's playing spell counters and Teferi? What happened? Like, no. We're just doing it this one time because it was interesting. You know, and it made sense. The deck plays very awkwardly, but, you know, it almost like it has the ability to be a control deck or the ability to be a mid-range deck, which is kind of an interesting aspect to have available. Unfortunately, in these quick test games, we didn't get to play against any of the Reclamation decks, but that's kind of okay. I just was more playing it to see how the deck actually played out, and it's pretty neat. So if you like playing Esper, this is kind of a neat option. It's a little bit different. And like I said, if you're playing against a lot of Reclamation decks, this could be the deck that's the answer that you're looking for. So go ahead and give it a shot. I would say if you're not into this style of deck, be very careful because you would spend a lot of wild cards or other resources trying to build this deck up. Not something I would really recommend necessarily, unless you're already into this and then you feel like playing it, because the deck does have a lot of cards from like Guilds of Ravnica, War of the Spark, you know, like that stuff you're not going to be able to play with in Standard here in about 2 months. So keep that in mind. Once again, if you haven't, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I'm bringing this research to bring you a cool and interesting deck. But otherwise, that's all I have for you today. Please come check us out on the Players Tour Final, Saturday and Sunday. And I'll see you next time.